An eruption of Indonesia's Semeru volcano devastates a village in East Java province. The volcano discharged massive plumes of ash Wednesday, forcing over 900 villagers to flee. Houses and roads were damaged by lava and rocks, which swept down the volcano slopes. At least one resident said the mud flow spread out for half a kilometer in just 3 minutes. At least 26 people are killed in Russia's latest airstrike on Ukraine. Russian drones and missiles damaged residential buildings in the Ukrainian city of Ternopil. Nearly 100 others were injured. The attack also targeted energy facilities and forced emergency power cuts in regions dealing with freezing temperatures. The attack happened as Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky met with Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara. Both leaders have expressed their commitment to finding a peaceful solution to Russia's war in Ukraine. Jamaica's candidate to the 2025 Miss Universe pageant in Bangkok had hoped the judges and the audience would fall for her beauty and charm. But it was Miss Jamaica herself who took a hard fall when she accidentally stepped off the edge of the stage during the pageant's evening gown competition. Video uploaded to social media shows Gabrielle Henry walking across the stage, unaware that she had already reached the edge. Other online video show her being carried out on a stretcher. The Miss Universe Jamaica organization says Henry had no broken bones and is now in a hospital recovering from minor injuries. Dismissed Philippine town mayor and alleged Chinese spy Alice Guo, convicted for human trafficking in connection with an illegal offshore gaming operation. A Pasig court gave Guo and 7 of her co-accused the maximum prison sentence. Bianca Dava has tonight's top story.
Guilty. This is the verdict of the Pasig Regional Trial Court Branch 167 against dismissed Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo and 7 other accused in the qualified human trafficking case stemming from illegal offshore gaming operations. The court sentenced Guo, 5 foreign nationals and 2 Filipinos to life imprisonment and a 2 million peso fine each on top of monetary reparations to their victims. The court also ordered the forfeiture of the Baofu compound in Bamban, the former site of an illegal pogo hub where some 800 Filipino and foreign workers were rescued last year. Guo and her 15 co-accused did not appear in court on Thursday and attended the promulgation only via teleconference. For the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, the verdict is not only a victory for the country but also for the international community.
This is a victory not only for my office but sa lahat ng ahensya na nagtrabaho dito. It is something symbolic para sa bansa to. What we thought before as parang imposible, ngayon napatunayan natin that sa pagkakaisa ng bawat ahensya, pagtutulungan, and with all the dedication and sincerity, nothing is impossible.
Dito napakita natin na talagang parehas yung hustisya dito. Regardless yan kung Filipino ka o foreigner ka. At siyempre ayaw natin yung masasaling yung sovereignty natin, lalo na kung ang gumagawa nito ay mga tagalabas at hindi taga dito sa atin.
According to the prosecutor, although 8 of the accused were acquitted, the important thing is that the key figures behind the trafficking operations are held accountable.
First time tayong nag-file ng organizing. First time din na nag-convict ang court ng organizing. Ang importante po yung main players natin, lahat convicted.
The Department of Justice praised the ruling, especially the forfeiture of the 6 billion peso Baofu compound, which they say can be used for the victims or other government programs.
Alam naman natin na madaming pagsubok dinaanan ng ating bansa. Itong property na to talagang magagamit to, no? Kung hindi man para sa mga biktima ng human trafficking, magagamit to ng pamahalaan ng Pilipinas para sa mga makabuluhang bagay.
Senators also hailed the verdict as a major win against transnational crimes linked to pogo operations.
Today, justice has been served. The conviction of Alice Guo, aka Guo Huaping, is a victory against corruption, human trafficking, cybercrime, and many other transnational crimes. Ngayon, hindi na sila makakaulit.
This conviction by Alice Guo sends a signal that our country is very serious with penalizing people. We just have to be very vigilant on where these criminal syndicates will come in and exploit vulnerabilities in our system.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian also hailed Guo's conviction, saying the rule of law prevailed and justice has been served. But for Senator Laila De Lima, Filipinos must not let their guard down as there are likely more syndicates that must be pursued. Following her conviction, Guo will be transferred from the Pasig City Jail to the Correctional Institution for Women in Mandaluyong City. The other convicted individuals will be placed under the custody of the Bureau of Corrections. ABS-CBN News tried to get a statement from Guo's camp through her legal counsel but has received no response. Bianca Dava, ABS-CBN News.
The Philippine military is investigating reports of foreign funding for destabilization efforts against the Marcos Jr. administration. Malacanang Press Officer Claire Castro says the Philippine Armed Forces is continuously monitoring these alleged activities. The military earlier observed what it says was unusual logistical and financial support for last weekend's anti-corruption rally by a group allied with ex-President Rodrigo Duterte.
Kung may katotohanan at makikita po sa kanilang pag-iimbestiga na foreign-funded itong kanilang isinasagawang rally, masasabi po natin ito'y pagtataksil sa bayan. At hindi po na narapat ito na pinanghihimasukan tayo ng ibang bansa. Ang politika natin ay mukhang pinanghihimasukan na ng ibang bansa. So, hindi po maganda. Sana hindi po lumalim pa ang itong klase mga aktibidad kung nagpopondo lang naman din po ay ibang bansa.
Malacanang rejects the claim of Lucas Bersamin that someone forced him out of his post as Executive Secretary to Philippine President Marcos Jr. An administration spokesperson earlier said Bersamin had voluntarily resigned after he was linked to alleged budget insertions for anomalous flood control projects. More details from Katrina Domingo.
Nagkausap naman po sila ng Pangulo face-to-face at let us just leave it at that.
This is how Malacanang responded when asked why it earlier claimed that former Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin voluntarily resigned from his post after the former cabinet chief belied their claim and said that he was ordered to exit the Marcos Jr. cabinet.
Muli po, ang pina-announce po sa atin ay galing sa palasyo at kung ano po naramdaman ni E.S. Bersamin, yun din po na ginagalang po natin ang kanyang nararamdaman. At kung ano po ang sinabi lamang po ng palasyo, yun lamang po ang ating in-announce.
Palace Press Officer and Undersecretary Claire Castro says she is not privy as to who told Bersamin to resign, but noted that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has already spoken to the former cabinet secretary. Castro also pointed out that Bersamin himself admitted that he recognizes the president's prerogative.
As he himself stated in his interview, he submitted himself to the President's discretion and prerogative as part of the ongoing reorganization. The palace announcement was issued in line with this understanding and with due regard for stability and continuity in governance.
Castro insists they serve at the pleasure of the President amid questions over the rising number of officials who were dismissed without adequate explanation.
Sabi nga nila, pagpasok mo dito, hindi mo alam kung ito na huling araw mo. So lahat po kami dapat ay handa doon.
Aside from Bersamin, it can be recalled that former Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan, and former BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. were all abruptly replaced as corruption allegations hounded the administration in recent weeks. Political analyst Julio Tihanki says the palace needs to carefully think of its next moves and statements, as the Marcos Jr. administration is supposedly in the midst of a crisis of legitimation, a period when the public questions if a president still deserves to stay in power.
Kailangan, patatagin uli ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ang kanyang political capital. Kailangan ipakita niya na isa siyang Marcos. Na kailangan ay meron din siyang strong will na talagang panindigan ang kanyang posisyon, ang political position niya at ang kanyang pagiging presidente.
For Ron Habal, president of the Reputation Management Association of the Philippines, Malacanang should temper public disappointment and counter the supposed lack of trust in government.
Ang lagi naming ina-advise sa ganito ay kung ganito na kalala Siguro that should be one and strongest voice, and that should be the president. It's about time that the president speaks like a nationwide broadcast.
Meanwhile, at a gathering in Malacanang, President Marcos Jr. poked fun at the First Lady and hinted on another shakeup in his cabinet.
First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos, who has recently been traveling to Europe to assist with on the OWA with some of the activities that so she has become our ambassador now for migrant workers. It's your new designation. Di ba magka-cabinet shake-up tayo sa kasama ka na doon?
But the PCO clarifies the president's statement was made in jest. Katrina Domingo, ABS-CBN News.
Ex-Philippine House Speaker Martin Romualdez speaks to the chief Philippine graftbuster to defend himself from accusations he got billions in kickbacks from flood control projects. Andrea Taguines reports.
Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla admits former House Speaker Martin Romualdez had once phoned him to defend himself from allegations linking him to the flood control corruption scandal. This also comes amid claims lawmakers and other top officials were involved in irregularities in the national budget. Remulla told a forum at the UP College of Law in Taguig that the conversation happened after he had been appointed as the new ombudsman, but before he formally assumed office.
He was trying to explain his side that he had no hand in many things. But that's all I can remember. I don't really remember the specifics. Of course, he was trying to make a case, his case, that had nothing to do with anything. I mean, we just listen. Wala, just, diba? We just follow the evidence, that's it.
Remulla said he took the call as a gesture of respect, noting that he and Romualdez have a close relationship, being fraternity brothers and former colleagues in the House of Representatives. But he insisted they have not spoken again since, except when he greeted Romualdez on his birthday.
After that, I didn't talk to him anymore because I have to think clearly about these cases.
The topic was brought up after former Socioeconomic Planning Secretary Winnie Monsod asked when the ombudsman would be ready to file a case against the president's cousin.
We've been studying the Martin Romualdez case for the past 40 days since we came into office. Knowing him, never talks about money to anybody. That's his way of doing business, especially politics. It appears that flood control became a currency, a political currency of sorts. How this be treated as a criminal matter is another matter, is another issue. So we have to go and look at the evidence that will pinpoint a specific violation of law.
When asked if a case could be filed against Romualdez in the next 6 to 9 months.
But at least in the next 6 months or 9 months?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You think so?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll hold you to that.
Yes, ma'am. We are not letting up, ma'am.
As for allegations dragging President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. into the budget insertion controversy, the ombudsman said he has yet to see any evidence pointing to the chief executive's involvement. But he vowed to pursue wherever the evidence leads them.
Hindi ko naman kinuha yung opisina to para magtakip para kahit kanino.
Former Congressman Elizalde Co earlier accused President Marcos and Romualdez of ordering him to insert 100 billion pesos into the 2025 national budget, adding that they received hefty kickbacks. Both Malacanang and Romualdez have dismissed the allegations. Andrea Taguines, ABS-CBN News.
Malacanang dismisses allegations it is working to unseat Isabela 6th District Congressman Faustino D. III as Philippine House Speaker. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro insists President Marcos Jr. is not meddling in the internal affairs of Congress. Rumors of D's impending removal had floated earlier this week. The president's House allies are reportedly looking for a stronger leader who could defeat a looming impeachment case against Marcos Jr.
Ang pagpili po kasi ng liderato ng Kongreso ay wala naman po sa kamay ng Pangulo. Kung ano po ang kanilang magiging desisyon dyan, kung ano ang kanilang pagiging pagpapatakbo dyan, hindi po yan saklaw ng Pangulo.
The president's son and House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos has joined 38 other lawmakers of the Northern Luzon Alliance in signing a manifesto of support for Speaker D. They expressed their full confidence in Dee, describing his leadership as capable and impartial. Two companies submit winning bids for 3 luxury vehicles seized from the Diskaya couple at the center of the Philippine flood control scandal. Jervis Manahan reports.
The Bureau of Customs has formally opened the public auction of 7 luxury cars owned by government contractors Curly and Sara Diskaya. These vehicles were seized because they had no import entry and had fraudulent certificates of payment. That's why an order for forfeiture was issued. Included in the fleet is the famous Rolls-Royce Cullinan that Sara Diskaya allegedly bought because of the free umbrella, with a floor price of 45.3 million pesos. There was also a Mercedes-Benz G63, Mercedes-Benz G500 Brabus, Lincoln Navigator, Bentley Bentayga, Toyota Tundra, and a Toyota Sequoia. The target collection based on the floor price of all 7 vehicles is around 103 million pesos. 8 bidders joined the public auction, who were thoroughly screened in accordance with customs law.
Sa batas ng ating customs, hindi po pwedeng bumili yung mga nag-import niyan at yung mga dating may-ari. Bawal yon, bawal yon. Ngayon, meron din tayong mga panuntunan paano rin natin mako-compute at makikita yung halaga ng minimum price nitong mga ito. Dapat hindi argabyading gobyerno.
The BOC clarifies the money raised from the auction will go to the National Treasury.
Natakot din kami sa simula dahil baka may stigma yung istorya nung sasakyan. Pag nanalo sa auction, magbabayad ka kagad. And then, ang Bureau of Customs, i-remit namin yan sa Bureau of Treasury. Hindi yan may iwan sa BOC. So pag yan na sa Bureau of Treasury na, magagamit na yan sa mga programa para sa ating mga kababayan.
The public auction was live-streamed to ensure the integrity of the process. Simplex Industrial Corporation won the bidding at over 15 million pesos each for 2 Mercedes-Benz vehicles, and the Central Jewelries for the Lincoln Navigator. According to the representative of a bidder, they participated because of the historical value of the vehicles.
Ka-interest lang ho siya. Baka daw po pag ibininta niya balang araw, maraming magkaka-interest dahil sa history.
Only 38.2 million pesos was raised from the first public auction. No one bid for the 4 remaining vehicles, so this will be included in the next batch that will go under the hammer.
The committee will reconvene. We will recompute the figures, the floor price. For this auction kasi, we used a 10% depreciation factor, no? But we can now consider perhaps maximizing to 16% as depreciation. In 5 days, we will be republishing itong ating magiging new floor prices. And depending kung ano pa yung magiging resulta sa ibang mga sasakyan, we might come out with another auction.
According to DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, the message of the auction is important, that ill-gotten wealth is now being returned to the government.
In fact, ako medyo kinikilabutan nga ako, no? Kasi ito na yung hinihintay ng mga kababayan natin na pananagot, no? Na meron ng mga makukulong at meron ng perang maibabalik. Pero uulitin ko, umpisa pa lang po ito. Marami pa pong ibabalik, marami pang isusubasta si Commissioner Ariel, maraming pa pong makukulong.
The LTO promised to help ensure that the registration of the vehicles will be in order and that the plates can be replaced for the safety of the new owners. Jervis Manahan, ABS-CBN News.
Philippine authorities are investigating whether the controversial Diskaya contractors have any connection to 7 luxury vehicles which were recently seized from a gas station along the North Luzon Expressway. Zian Ambrosio reports.
The PNP Highway Patrol Group and the Land Transportation Office joined forces in a special operation at the gasoline station along the North Luzon Expressway in Marilao, Bulacan. The operation targeted a line of luxury cars parked in the open area.
Na-validate po ng ating pong mga operatiba na totoo po yung sumbong po ng ating pong kababayan na ito pong 7 pong luxury cars na ito ay may mga improvised plate po na ginagamit.
The red Ferrari was unregistered and had no license plate. The blue BMW M2 Coupe, Toyota Land Cruiser, and silver Nissan GTR also had no registration. The driver of the Maserati likewise failed to present the ORCR. A white Nissan GTR and a deep metallic blue Toyota Supra also lacked the proper documents. The vehicles were being driven by motorists aged 24 and above and residents of Malolos, Bulacan, Quezon City, Taytay, and Cainta, Rizal. They were all charged with reckless driving and the vehicles were impounded.
Bakit tinawag na reckless driving? Kasi nga, they are possessing na sasakyan nga po na unregistered na. So kasama po ito sa provisions po ng ating pong RA 4136.
One of the drivers explained that they all knew each other and had simply agreed to meet in the area. The HPG says it is also investigating whether these luxury cars have any connection to the so-called Diskaya Group.
Marami na kami nakikita at nakakuhang impormasyon na talagang tuloy-tuloy yung pag-dispatcha ng mga Diskaya nito pong mga kanilang mga luxury cars. May mga napuntahan na rin tayo dito sa area ng Calabarzon area and even nga po rito sa Central Luzon. At ongoing pa rin po yung ating monitoring and validation, makapagpatuloy pa at makita at malaman din talaga kung sino talaga may maaari ng mga ganito pong paggala or pagbenta or transaction po ng bentahan po ng luxury cars dito po sa ating bansa.
The HPG is also urging the public to report any suspicious luxury vehicles. Zian Ambrosio, ABS-CBN News.
The Philippine Justice Department says a total of 57 skeletal remains have been found by divers searching Taal Lake for missing cockfight gamers. It says the bones and several articles of clothing were found this month alone. The search was spurred by the testimony of whistleblower Julie Patidongan, who claimed the missing persons were killed and their bodies dumped in Taal Lake. Philippine shares followed the positive trend of regional markets Thursday, driven by investors looking for undervalued stocks. More in this report.
Asian equities were in positive trading Thursday with stellar earnings by Nvidia easing investor fears over AI spending that have troubled markets across the globe. Here at home, Philippine shares joining Asia's rally, the PSE's main index up 2% on Thursday to climb its way back to the 5,900 level.
We see some stability in the peso and hopefully it retreats below the 59 peso level, then we could see a more sustainable rally.
In corporate stories, San Miguel Corporation with 60 billion pesos in 9-month core net income. This was more than double from last year on the back of improved operational efficiency and cost management initiatives. SMC of Tycoon Ramon Ang, though, said revenues were slightly lower on softer crude prices and the deconsolidation of select power assets. Next to Megawide, the construction firm raises 3 billion pesos from its latest preferred shares offer. The Saavedra-led firm says proceeds from this will help refinance its maturing 2B preferred shares. On to the Ayala Group, it approved fourth-quarter cash dividends on its outstanding preferred B Series 4 shares. The amount was set at 31.45 per share with record date on December 3rd and payment on the 19th. Ayala's banking arm BPI, meanwhile, setting its cash dividend at 2 pesos and 28 centavos. That'll be for stockholders of record as of December 3 and payable on the 18th. And finally, to the MVP Group, its agribusiness unit eyeing to build a strawberry farm in Benguet. Metro Pacific AgriVentures expects the move to improve supply of strawberries in the country and as a result, lower its price.